Hello everyone, and welcome to Hill Street. Today's story is The Pain of Remembering by the Grey Cheshire. If you end up enjoying this story, please leave a like. And if you enjoy hearing stories from me, please subscribe and become a resident of Hill Street, and let me know how I'm doing in the comments. Now, let's get to this nightmare. As I sit here, staring at the clock on the wall, I start to remember things. Her face, his laugh, the way they both made me feel. It's been almost 9 years, yet the burning pain never faded. My therapist tells me to get out, to go do something more. Yet, I find myself unable to do so. What if someone comes into my home? What if someone takes? No, I can't leave my home. I have no real reason to fear that someone will come to my home. However, every time I leave, 1,000 cursed images come to my head. I don't dream of vast fields of wheat. I don't dream of inky blackness. Instead, what I see is their face. They don't mock me. They don't taunt me. Instead, they whisper to me, "Come home. We miss you." My brain tears itself asunder in anguish as the logical part of my brain yells at me, "It's not real! They're gone!" The tears come as I wake up. My body was drenched in sweat, and my sheets were ruined. I stare at the mirror. The bags under my eyes have gotten progressively worse. My hand curls into a fist as I try my best to get myself under control. It's been 9 years. To some, this length of time is enough to process it. You tell yourself one day at a time. You go through the old photos. Some have faded from you constantly glancing at them. Your photo album has some pages worn more than others. The ghosts call you out. You see their reflections. You see your child in the living room playing with blocks. You see your significant other pouring themselves a glass of water. Then the pain comes back. For me, it's just another part of the routine. I can recall every memory like it was yesterday. My son was giggling as he drew his first picture. "Hey, Daddy, looks, it's a picture," he would call in pride. His mispronunciation of the word picture made it all the more endearing. My wife would turn around, her red hair shimmering in the sunlight. "Don't forget to tell Daddy what we worked on, dear." My son would smile in remembrance. He would take my hand in his own. He would lead me out to the back of the yard. In a small flower box inside were 3 small sprouts. "Mommy says they're tapunas." I chase him back into the house. He's giggling. I'm smiling. Inhale. Exhale. Fight back the tears. I'm taken back to reality. My home is a prison of my own making. I see ghosts everywhere. I've got to make sure that nothing changes. Nothing can change. I keep the orange juice at the same level. I've marked it, and it must not change. The coffee maker only ever makes 3 cups. The photos on my refrigerator are super glued in place. I don't sleep in my own bed. She made it last. I can't change it. Once I've left the house at exactly 10:40 a.m., I lock the door. I look at the petunias my son planted. I've got to dig them up and bury new sprouts soon. They can't grow too much. I check my vehicle. It's the only thing I allow to change. I need to. My old car smells like them. It hurts too much to drive. I start the engine and take as long as I need to. I go to visit my therapist every week. We don't talk about much anymore. I think they've given up on me, which is fine. They can't fix what's broken inside of me. Some days, I just wish I'd be allowed to fade. My therapist is an elderly gentleman, thick glasses, unkempt silver hair, and piercing blue eyes. "So, Harry, what's it gonna be today?" he asked, his thick Indian accent coming through, dragging me back to the appointment. "Huh? What?" I ask, having been taken away by the painting on his wall. It's new. He used to have a painting of a vase filled with flowers. Now he has a painting of an open window, with raindrops slowly cascading down the panes. "Where's your painting?" I ask. He looks at the painting, and I see it in his eyes. They register I'm about to have a breakdown. "Harry, calm down. Listen to me," I begin stammering. No, you can't. That's not allowed." Genuine concern flashes across the man's feature. "Harry, it's fine." I interrupt him before he's able to continue. "No, it's not fine. Where are the flowers?" I take a gulp, struggling to contain the insanity within my brain. "Harry, we've talked about this. Change is okay." He is trying to manage the situation. He hands me a stress ball, and I squeeze it. The familiar shape calms me down, and he takes me out of the office. My hands are squeezing the toy. The foam is helping. I squeeze it repeatedly. "I'm sorry, Harry. One of my other patients painted it for me. They had asked that I hang it." I nod, understanding that I'd overreacted. Just because things never changed for me, that didn't mean they stopped changing for everyone else. My breathing calms down, the small foam toy doing its job. I'm slowly calming down. He looks at me and nods. "We're going to end this session for today, Harry. I'll call you tomorrow to check on you." I nod, takes my keys, and return the stress toy to my therapist. The rain cascades down my windshield. I sit there, staring at nothing in particular, unable to drive quite yet. I lose myself in the soft sound of the rain hitting the roof of my car. "Harry, are you going to drive me to get the cake for the party?" The soft voice of my wife calls out to me. "I'll go get it myself. You got quite a lot to do yet." My response is both in the dream and in reality. Tears slowly stream down my cheeks as the memory assaults me. I want to scream out, to hit my steering wheel. The rain continues, the hypnotic noise driving me into another memory. "Daddy, you promised me ice cream." My son's voice came from the back of the car. "I know, Charlie. That's where we're going now. What flavor are you going to get today?" The memory feels so real. "Chocolate," he says, and I remembered the ice cream melting. He had wanted to share it with my wife, so we got one bigger than normal. It melted all over his pants and shirt. I thought it was adorable, but he didn't want to get dirty, so he spent the entire ride struggling to keep the ice cream off his clothes. We got home. There was barely any ice cream left. He ran inside to give his mother what remained of it. I got to work cleaning the car. Someone beeps at me. I'm taken back to reality. I start the car and wipe the tears from my eyes, waving the person on. I pull out of the parking lot. Today was a bad day. There was no way tonight was going to be any better. As I pulled into the driveway, I hit the button to make the garage door swing open. I pull into the garage, close the door, and get out of my car. Everything was as I left it. Then a searing pain tears into me, a quick sound, and then I feel another sharp pain. This time it was my stomach. I looked around, wondering what was happening to me. It was then that I saw them. My wife and son were sitting at the kitchen table, chatting about what they had been up to. At first, I couldn't believe it. After 9 years, they'd returned to me. My boy walks over to me, and he wraps his arms around me. To my mind, this was everything I'd wanted. My wife walks over to me, and she hugs me as well. Tears are now streaming down my cheeks. I silently say a prayer to whatever divine entity saw fit to restore them to me. My wife and son take my hand, lead me over to this ever-bright light.
Officer to dispatch. The complaint that was filed, I can't begin to tell you.
The officer reaches down and closes the eyes of the man.
Please send a medic unit. We need to get this man out of here.
The officer looks around for any signs of forced entry.
This looks like a murder. The man was shot twice in his stomach.
The medics arrive to try their best to revive the man. The officer looks sad as he speaks. Poor bastard, lost his wife and kids 9 years ago. Now he's been murdered. Hope he's at least with them now. My wife softly smiles as she continues to lead me to the bright light. My son tugs on my shirt. He's smiling happily. I missed you guys so much. The light feels warm. I can feel a single tear run down my cheek. My wife continues smiling at me. I was being led ever deeper into the blinding light. Then I feel nothing. No pain. No sorrow. Just an endless valley of warmth. I see a long, endless field with a white and red checkered blanket. My son and wife are sitting there smiling, laughing, and eating a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. A small amount of jelly leaks from one end of my son's sandwich.